When you fully commit, incredible things can happen. I've seen this over and over in my life, in my business, in my career. Half commitments often fail. Dreams that are out there that you're just dreaming of but not committing to make happen never come true. But definite commitments where you make the commitment and you're going to make it happen, well, even if it seems like the way is not clear, even if it seems impossible, they often find a way to come true. And that way, that path, the sequence of things that happen, in order for that definite commitment to come true, it's not always expected. It's not always what you thought. It's not always based on resources that you knew that you had. Sometimes it's synchronicity, just things coming together in ways that you didn't expect. And sometimes it's the complete unexpected that comes. But it all starts with that commitment and putting that commitment out into the world. And if you want more content like this, first off, let me know what you think. And make sure you like and subscribe so you get more content like this delivered to you. Here's the show intro, then we'll dive in. These are the proven direct response marketing, copywriting, and entrepreneurship success strategies you can use today to write your own ticket and create the life you want. I am Roy Furr, and this is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Now, here's today's breakthrough. All right, so most of my episodes and content around marketing, copywriting, business building, entrepreneurship, etc., as is most of my training. But the first link in the description takes you to a training that I have titled Training Your Subconscious Success Mechanism. Training Your Subconscious Success Mechanism. And so if you check out that first link in the description, it takes you deeper into, everything related to how your mind works to help you achieve your goals. And if you find today's episode relevant and interesting, I think you'll love that training too. All right, so let's dive into this. Let's actually start with a quote that's been attributed to Goethe or Goethe or Goethe or Goethe. I think the pronunciation is somewhere around Goethe, but I'm just an ignorant American who doesn't know my German philosopher and writer and statesman's name pronunciation. So the quote, this is the longer version of the quote. I'm sure you'll recognize the last line or so. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man could have dreamed would have come his way. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. So I think you've probably heard that last line. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Now, it's not really Goethe. According to the Goethe Society of North America, they actually spent 2 years researching the origin of this famous quote, and they pinned it down to a Scottish writer, W.H. or William Hutchinson Murray. And he wrote a book in 1951 titled The Scottish Himalayan Expedition. And he said that he was inspired by Faust, which is the play by Goethe. There was a specific quote, "Now at last, let me see some deeds. Now at last, let me see some deeds." That was the line that inspired that last line. So all of this, that for whatever reason, I was just sitting in meditation today, and I looked up that quote because it just came to my mind. I wanted to read that quote again. I wanted to be reminded of that quote. And I found this longer article that explained the origin of the quote, etc. And I read the longer quote, and it really resonated with me and made me think of this law this law of how the universe works, like the law of gravity, right? The law of definite commitment. Whenever you want to create a new situation in your life, whether that's a career change, a life change, a personal change, personal development change, a fitness change, a business change, a relationship, health, like all these different changes that you could create in your life, all these new situations that you could put yourself into. You can sit all day and dream of all the things that you would like to have, of all the ways you'd like yourself to be, of all the ways you'd like your life to be. All those dreams, all those fantasies, all those imaginings that you might have do not tend to manifest themselves until you commit to making them so. So you must make a definite commitment in your heart and in your head, and better, in public. Begin speaking about this publicly. Start with trusted people who are most likely to support you, to lift you up instead of tearing you down. Don't share it with your, some pessimistic friend or family member or, coworker or whatever who tears everybody down. Don't share it with them. Share it with the people who lift you up. Share it with the people who support you, who see the best in you and want the best for you. Share it with those people. And importantly, just externalize it for yourself. You don't hide a flower to protect its beauty. You have to expose it to the sun and the rain to let it blossom. And don't hide your ideas and intentions, because in sharing them, you let them grow and bloom. So you have to express this definite commitment that you are making, and you have to express it in a way where you're not just hiding it, because you can go from imagining it in your head to dreaming about it in your head to dreaming about it on paper, but still not making that definite commitment. But when you start to shift your commitment into something you are externalizing, the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. And you can call it providence, fate, fortune, luck, God, or the gods, spirit, whatever. You don't have to, providence is capitalized in this particular quote. And that typically means that there's a reference there to God, to divine providence, but you don't have to have some specific belief system. And I think that this is inclusive of any and all belief systems, that when you commit yourself, whatever, the universe seems to work in your favor. And let's talk about that, because you don't even have to believe that there's some external consciousness that's helping you out, right? You just put your definite commitment out into the world, and you're going to find it reflected in what comes to you. It doesn't have to be something magic. It can be practical. Like in our brains, we have something called the reticular activating system. And this is the part of your brain, I've heard it talked about where, an example from my life. We have a minivan. Got 3 kids, we have a minivan. One of our vehicles, right? When we bought our dark gray Toyota Sienna minivan, suddenly, driving around town, we see 1 million dark gray Toyota Sienna minivans. That is your reticular activating system at work, because something becomes important in your consciousness. In our case, that's our car, right? When it becomes important in your consciousness, you start to see it wherever it appears. And so you make a definite commitment for, I'm going to become a direct response copywriter. I'm going to learn copywriting. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to launch a successful business using, direct response offers, etc. Well, you're going to start to see opportunities show up everywhere. You're going to notice the things that are important in the context of that definite commitment, right? And so, there's neuroscience supporting that you make this definite commitment, and these things that might have been floating around in the world already, that might have been in your orbit that might have been visible to you but ignored, because most of what is around you in the world is maybe visible, but it is ignored. Our brains can't process everything, not consciously. So our unconscious processes everything and brings to conscious awareness what is important. So we make this definite commitment, and the opportunities that were sitting right there in front of us that we did not have a context by which our unconscious would say, that's important, let me bring it to your attention. Suddenly our unconscious says, that matches something you were thinking about, so let me bring it to your attention. And so that's one way in which, you don't even have to attribute this to divinity or to magic. Or you can. I don't care. You can say, God is bringing me opportunity because I make a commitment. I don't care, right? I have my own beliefs, and my own beliefs leave all of this open as a possibility. I don't shut down, one perspective or another. I have things that I have more or less evidence for, but my beliefs allow all of this to be true, right? So all of this commitment starts presenting us with opportunities. And the other thing that happens is commitment makes you optimistic. When you have this definitive commitment to, I'm going to create this situation in my life, there is a sense of optimism that comes from being goal-directed, purpose-directed, having intention with which you are going through your life. And optimism it's attractive. So it's attractive not in like a metaphysical sense, like it attracts things to you, although it may seem like that at times. It's attractive in a very practical way. People like to be around and to support optimists. There's actually research on it that optimists have better career trajectories. They're more likely to get a raise. There's all sorts of things. Like people who are intentional, who set intentions for their lives, have more good things coming to them than people who are like, oh, this is terrible. Why should I even commit to it? Why should I even dream bigger? Well, why? Because when you do it, good things happen. And it comes from commitment. Next part of that quote, all sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events, issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance which no man could have dreamed, or no woman could have dreamed would have come his or her way. You can never predict what will happen. You can never predict what will happen. It is worth noting here, this talks about unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, right? When you make this definite commitment to yourself, to the world, that you are going to make something happen, you don't have the capability to see all the factors at play. You don't have the capacity to understand all the resources that are 3 steps forward and around the next corner. You don't have the prescience to see what's coming to you from the future, right? You're not a good predictor for what's possible, what's probable in general, right? You're not good at predicting what scientific invention is going to be possible 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 50 years from now, right? And you're also not a good predictor for what's possible for you in particular if you set yourself towards achieving whatever major goal. So you could say, like, this is the thing that I am committing to, right? And it does have to be believable in some regard. It does have to be something that is not completely just out there, right? So visiting the next star system, making a definite commitment to that, that may not come true. But you could make a definite commitment to go on a 0G flight and experience what it's like to be weightless, right? If you want to experience that. You may be able to make a definite commitment to visit outer space. That seems like it's going to be possible before too long. And if that is your definite commitment for the rest of your life, I don't know. That may be something that can happen. You have to remain open to the possibilities that are going to lead to it happening. Saying you're going to become a billionaire next year, maybe that's not a definite commitment that is likely to come true. Somebody who is not a billionaire this year, who probably doesn't have very many resources, will be a billionaire next year. Somebody on this planet, right? But you could think about, how can I create a business that's going to help 1 million people, 10 million people, 100 million people, 1 billion people, and perhaps that business will make you a billionaire, right? The whole point here is you have to definitively commit to something that you believe is possible to achieve by someone, and start taking action. So here's how to use the law of definite commitment to get what you want. Starting with another quote: until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. You can't be a dabbler. And I'm guilty of this for certain ideas and aspirations that I have. I've let them sit. I put them on the back burner, right? You can't just sit on a good idea. You have to go out there and you have to be taking action, which that action comes from definite commitment, right? The most famous part of the quote is, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. And so the important point here is you're making this definite commitment, right? You're making a definitive commitment. To what? To what? To begin. Just begin. Get started. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Just begin. You don't have to be sure how to get to the end. You don't have to be sure what it's going to take for you to get all the way to that destination. But you do have to be bold, and you have to take the next best step. So that's the first step. At one point is the next best step. And then say, what's the next best step? What's the next best step from here? What's the next best step from here? What's the next best step from here? And then be open to whatever synchronicities come. There are going to be some things that happen, some unforeseen incidents and meetings and material support that you receive, right? There's going to be material assistance that comes your way from people who you don't even think about right now, who are the people who can help you. There are going to be people that you run into, meetings that happen, unforeseen incidents that support you as long as you're taking action, as long as you make this definite commitment and begin. So I told you that this has had a huge impact on my life, and most of my audience are copywriters, marketers, etc. And so for me, like my background, I discovered copywriting in spring 2005. I didn't have a path in life. Like, I just graduated from college, a BA in psychology, which is like, it doesn't get you much, at least not in the field of psychology. So I was working in the gas company call center. You didn't pay your bill all winter. And the company sent somebody out on the first warm day of spring to shut off service. I was the guy you called and yelled at. Well, between calls, I was reading books and I discovered this thing called copywriting, and I knew it was for me, and I made a definite commitment that this is what I was going to do. I knew that this is my path. And from that point, I figured it out. I figured out what the next best step was, and the next best step, and the next best step. And within a couple months, I was applying for jobs, and opportunities came, and I got a great full-time job doing marketing for a small publishing company. And that was my next best step. And then I took more next best steps, and I reached out and I tried to get some clients, but I still knew that I wanted to be a freelancer. I still knew that I wanted to go out on my own. And I ran into some struggles, and I felt like a freelance wannabe for a long time. Like, going back to the quote, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back. I was not that committed. I was happy in the job, so I was not that committed to becoming a freelancer. Well, eventually, It was time for me to make a definite commitment to go freelance. And I did. And I went to a copywriting conference as part of that decision. And I achieved this clarity. I achieved this like definitiveness of purpose, or definiteness of purpose, if we're going to follow the language of Napoleon Hill. It's the same law, the same principle, right? But commitment is a more useful word, I think, than purpose. Because commitment is an action that you take. Purpose is something that you feel like it's bestowed upon you, right? So I got very specific. I was going to go after these business opportunity companies that did this type of copywriting, and I would go after some personal development companies, and then I went after financial, and the opportunities just kept showing up, and the meetings occurred, and the material support occurred, and I got connections, and I created the life that I wanted in copywriting. And I know that I've seen this happen with others. Like whatever the commitment event is for them, they decide. I'm dreaming it. I can do it. I will do it. I am that thing. And often it's that definitiveness that leads to an identity shift. They go from being like, I'm studying copywriting. I want to be a copywriter. Copywriting is interesting. I'd like to do copywriting as a thing, to I am a copywriter. And they become what they begin to be. Right? They begin to be a copywriter and they become a copywriter, right? And they find a way. And it comes from this definitiveness of commitment to become this new identity. And I see this with entrepreneurship of all kinds. Like I hear this from investors who say, if this is going to be one of 8 projects you're working on, I don't want to invest in you. I want somebody who has definite commitment, right? It's someone who launches their business. They do a full commitment into it and they're going to make it happen. And so be bold. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Make a definite, definitive commitment to yourself, to your dreams, to whatever it is that you want to make real, to whatever changes you want to achieve in your life, to experience, whatever new situation you want to put yourself in. Make that definite commitment. And instead of just dreaming it, turn it into action. Begin it. Take that first step. And check out my Training Your Subconscious Success Mechanism training. Again, it's the first link in the description. Now, as part of a training library full of copywriting, marketing, and entrepreneurship training, you pay one low monthly fee. I try to make it worth it so that even if you're signing up for one training like that, you're going to get all the value and more from a single month. But then you can browse around and you can see there's a lot of other valuable content there, especially if you are a copywriter, marketer, or entrepreneur. I'm Roy Furr. This is Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Every day I'm here in every episode helping you out, providing value, sometimes on personal development like this, sometimes copywriting, marketing, and entrepreneurship. Either way, I'll see you tomorrow for your next episode. I'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.